To quote the illustrious Marvin Gaye, what's going on, everyone? My name's Tim Williams. We're going to break down what was a 10-game slate, now is a 9-game slate on this fabulous Wednesday. We're going to break it down, go through each and every one of these 9 games. If you are new to the channel, welcome. You like baseball, you like DFS. That's why you clicked on this little thumbnail. You are in the right spot. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future breakdowns. And without any further ado, I don't want to waste your time. Let's jump right in here. First game, we have the Marlins Phillies. No over under yet, no favorite. We have some possible rain toward the end of this game, something to keep an eye out. That is going to be a common theme for many of these games. There's might be some rain here and there. So Marlins have Holloway on the mound taking on Nola for the Phillies. Holloway 4.4K, just not a ton of interest here. Might be able to go 4 or 5 innings if things go right. He was called up because Petit was placed on the IR. They have been stretching him out a little bit in AAA. He has a 19.2 strikeout percent. The walk rate is a little scary, 13.7% walk rate. He is much worse against left-handed batters. Just not a ton of interest here. Like the Phillies are a pretty formidable offense. And then on the other side, Nola 10-2, probably the clearest ace type pitcher on this slate. 29.2% strikeout rate here. He has pitched well to right-handed batters, giving up a ton of hard contact to left-handed batters, 45.5% hard hit contact. So this is kind of an interesting matchup here because Marlins seems like somewhat of an easy matchup, right? His last 4 DraftKings outings, 33 points, -10, 37 points, 12 points. So he's just been really up and down this whole season. I could make the argument to fade him, and I might in a lot of lineups. So we'll see. Marlins bats, that being said, I don't see them just jumping on Nola like crazy. I am interested in some of the lefties, like we mentioned, who can hit the ball hard. Jazz Chisholm, my favorite one, 3.5K. That's fairly cheap. And then Sanchez, 2.2K. He's probably going to be hitting toward the bottom of the order. It's kind of more of just a flyer play. He's not like a must or anything like that, but we're looking to save some salary for some of these big bats on the slate. So, and then on the other side with the Phillies, I do have some interest here. I think Harper, 5.3K, a lefty going against Holloway is pretty juicy. I think he very well could go yard in this one. Herrera, 3.4, especially if he's leading off. Segura has hit pretty well, 3.4K. Hoskins, 5.3, finally had a slump buster game yesterday. He hit a home run there. So I do have some interest in Phillies bats, and there's ways to get, some of those cheapy guys in there. Next, we have the Angels, Yankees, 9.5 over under. Yankees favored here. Ohtani taking on German. Ohtani, 8.7K. I really love the price here. I really, don't mind taking him when he's on the mound. The best part about him on the mound, especially with his hot streak, is that his home runs, if he's hitting tonight, aren't going to count. So if you're worried about any chalk Ohtani home runs, well, you're in luck. And he's pretty affordable on the mound, to be honest. 34% strikeout rate. Really love that. He has so much upside. He could probably go 6 innings. The walk rate's coming down from what it was earlier in the year, 13.3%, which isn't great, but we know what he can do. 49% ground ball rate, near 30% fly ball rate here. He does give up a decent amount of hard contact. And then look what he does to right-handed batters. 42.9% strikeout rate against right-handed batters. Oh, guess what? Most of the New York Yankees are all right-handed batters. I know the ballpark is a little scary. It is nice weather, but Ohtani is set up pretty well here. And then on the other side, German, 8.5K. I don't have a ton of interest here. For the same price, I might as well just pay for Ohtani, right? German, 21% strikeout rate. Gets a lot of ground balls, 46% ground ball rate. He hasn't pitched past 4.1 innings in his last 3 starts. So I don't trust it. Angels are kind of tough here. Angels bats, Walsh, 4.4K. I think the price is reasonable for him as a lefty taking on German. Rendon is too cheap, 4.2K. I don't mind getting there either. Rengifo, I, I don't mind getting there, right? You're saying like, why the hell is this dude on your slide, right? 2.1K. I think it's fair. It's a punt play. He might get you 0 points. He might get you 10 points. Maybe he can hit a home run. I doubt it, but he hits a lot of fly balls. That's why he's interesting to me, especially if German just is kind of a little bit flaky in this one. In general, I'm not really trying to stack the Angels here. The Yankees bullpen is pretty solid, so I wouldn't mind maybe like Walsh or Rendon as a one-off, I guess. And then on the other side, Yankees, I wanted to put these guys on there. Just because they're on there doesn't mean like, hell yeah, go out and play these guys. I just want to give you an example of the pricing. So Judge at 5.6, Sanchez 5K, Stanton 5.8, and Duar 3K, which is, I think, fairly cheap for upside there. These are guys who can take walks, right? Best case scenario, these are the guys who take the walks and then one of them hits one out of the ballpark. What's more likely to happen? These guys are going to strike out. Ohtani has a 43% strikeout rate to right-handed batters, or they're going to take their walks and somebody's going to hit it out. I'm leaning towards the Ohtani side here, but I just wanted to show you kind of my thinking on both sides here. So next game here, Mariners, Blue Jays, 10.5 over under. Blue Jays are favorited here. I don't think there is too much of a concern as far as weather goes, maybe towards the end of the game. Sheffield taking on Mats. Sheffield 6.3K, gives up a ton of contact to both sides of the plate. Definitely nothing special here as far as like DFS purposes. 17.4% strikeout rate. The walk rate is a little high, 9.4%. He has given up 2 home runs in each of his last 4 starts. So that is not good, especially when you're facing a Toronto Blue Jays team who is just simply one of the best offenses in baseball. Matt's 8.1K. I would have had interest in him. He will be on a pitch count coming off the COVID list. He's been great against left-handed batters, worse against righties. 24.8% strikeout rate here, gets a ton of ground balls 47% of the time. It just depends on his pitch count. He just did like a sim game or simulated something, and he went about 60 pitches. So I don't see him going more than 60, 70 in this one, probably. Mariners, bats, I think somewhat in play, right? Matt's maybe a little rusty. We don't know. Haniger 4A, it feels expensive, but it's kind of a price where he should be. I don't mind taking a shot on France at 3.3. Torrens, if he's behind the plate, has power upside at 2.3K. I don't mind more either if he's in the lineup at 2.8K. Aside from Haniger, these guys have some cheap right-handed bats, and we probably need at least three cheap bats to kind of stack up some of these offenses here. So I think those bats are somewhat in play. And then the Blue Jays, probably one of my favorite stacks on the slate. No surprise here. I don't think you have to get too cute on this particular slate. It's only 9 games. So in play, obviously Guerrero 5'9", one of the best players in baseball. Bichette, Hernandez, Semien, Grishuk. I really don't even mind, rounding out a stack with, what is it, Adams or Reese McGuire, whoever's starting at catcher. Espinal 3K. Kind of just hope he gets on and keeps the lineup turning. Gurriel 3.7K. I don't see too many people going after those cheap bats for the Blue Jays, so it might be one way to get a little bit different to get the stack in. Next we have, Padres Reds here, 10 over under. There is some rain in this game. That's a little concerning. Clearly, if you see on the slide here, there's a ton of stuff to talk about. Padres favorite, I don't know if I said that. Musgrove against Gutierrez. Musgrove 9.2K. It's a little high for what he's been kind of doing. He's been great. He's been definitely a solid pitcher. He hasn't gone over 20 DraftKings points since May 25th. So a little over a month ago. His strikeout rate is good, 33% strikeout rate there. He's done a good job with the fly ball rate, 32% there, 46% ground balls. I just don't know I haven't really been watching his last few starts. Maybe he's getting less spin rate on the ball. Maybe he's been a little bit more hittable. It's going to just be a tough matchup for him in general. The Reds don't strike out a ton. And then on the other side, Gutierrez, 7.1K. I just don't have interest here against the Padres. 19% strikeout rate, 10% walk rate. That's not going to get it done against the Padres. 51.5% ground ball rate, 37% fly ball rate, 47% hard hit contact against him. He's had some good outings. I think he's just been somewhat lucky. He's facing a Padres team that can just obviously mash the baseball here. Very interested in Padres. Tatis, Cronenworth feels a little pricey, but 5.3, he can get it done. Machado, Grisham, Pham's been on fire at 5K. Those are just the main five, right? Clearly, probably 1 through 5 or 2 through 6 ish. What I will say is the Reds have the second to worst bullpen ERA, and the relievers give up the most home runs in Major League Baseball to this day, so far this season. So Padres very much in play, whether they keep knock Gutierrez out or whatever. The bullpen is really struggling here. So, and then on the other side, just to give you an example on pricing, like Winker's in a decent spot here, but 5.9K, I think I'll look elsewhere. Votto 4.7, Castellanos 5.2. They finally, I don't know, DraftKings will, one day we'll have him at 4K, and then the next time he's over 5K. Don't make any sense of it. These guys kind of grade out pretty well in this situation. But what's likely going to happen? Are the Reds going to gang up on Musgrove? I don't think so. Are they? And even if they do, they get to the bullpen. Padres have the best ERA in baseball. So I'm just not too interested on the Reds side. Next, we have the Royals Red Sox here, 10.5 over under. It's probably going to rain early on in this ball game, 6 to 7, 8-ish. Might see some showers in Boston. It's beautiful out right now. Minor taking on Perez here. Red Sox favorited. Minor 8.9K, 25% strikeout rate, 41% fly ball rate. So he's giving up a ton of fly balls. That doesn't work out well in Fenway Park here. Tough matchup against the Red Sox anyway. And then on the other side, Perez 6.5K. Not interested there. There's no upside. Under 20% strikeout rate here. Right-handed batters, hit fairly well against Perez. So Royals bats, let's talk a little bit of Royals action. Merrifield having a field day, no pun intended. Merrifield having a field day so far this series in Fenway. 5.7K. He's just been kind of nasty the last couple games. Santana 4.3. Sal Perez, I didn't put him on the list. He's over 5K. He hasn't really done anything in the last 10 days. But this is what I wanted to kind of talk about here is getting to some of these cheap bats who are in good situations at Fenway Park where it's pretty nice out. Aside from that little blip of rain, Taylor at 2.3. I have no problem playing him. He's got power upside. He's shown it the last couple of days. Dozier, he's struggling 3K. I don't mind it. Soler 3.5K. Rivera, if he's in play, or he left the game yesterday, 2.8K. If he's in the lineup, I don't mind playing him. He's got power upside. He's shown it in the minors. His splits work out pretty well. So he hits lefties well in the minors. So if he's in there, I think he's going to go low owned. And then on the other side with the Red Sox, Martinez, Devers, Bogarts obviously in play, right? The price is fair. I don't mind it. Verdugo's a little cheap, 3.9K. Renfroe, 3.6K. Really love him against any left-handed pitching. Kike, same thing against lefties, 4K. So there's ways to kind of get Red Sox in there. They might go somewhat low owned. We'll see. But definitely like both teams here. Next game we have is the Mets Braves 9 over under. Braves favorited here. Peterson taking on Fried. Peterson 7.5K, 24.4% strikeout rate here, 10% walk rate, a little high there, right? He's a ground ball pitcher, gets, doesn't get a lot of fly balls, gives up a ton of hard contact. Opponents hitting 238. Like he's just kind of like an all right real life pitcher. I've definitely taken some shots on him in the past in DFS. The price isn't great. The matchup isn't good. So I'll probably pass here. Braves Fried coming back off the IR. I think he came off because of a blister, so it looks like he should be good to go. 8.3K. Yeah, it's a little high. I think maybe fair. He's recorded a quality start in 6 of his last 7 outings, which is great. He's not going to blow the ball by you. 22% strikeout rate here, 8% walk rate, which I don't really like to see. He's a ground ball pitcher who limits fly balls very well. The upside, I think, is capped. You're looking at maybe 20-25 DraftKings points, which isn't bad, right? Especially on a slate like today. Opponents hitting 260 off of him. That's kind of, makes me a little hesitant. I don't think I'm going to really mess around with bats in this one. Looking at the Mets, I don't really love the matchup. If I'm going to go for it, I'm just going to go Alonso, right? He's safe to me, 5.2K. I'll gladly pay that for him any slate. And then on the Brave side, there's some interest there, but they're just like too expensive. Like at times they just don't get it done. The Mets bullpen is pretty good. This whole game might just be a fade. Maybe have interest in Fried, but he is coming off that injury. So that's my thoughts on that one. Next, we have the Twins White Sox 9 over under. There's going to be some rain possibly. We'll see. Ober taking on Cease here. Ober 5.7K. I think he's going to be a little bit too high owned because of the price. 21.8% strikeout rate here. Decent control overall, and it's like 4 or 5 starts I think he's done so far. 42% fly ball rate. 43% hard contact rate. Very bad against left-handed batters. I know the White Sox are a little bit banged up, but we'll get to their bats in a second here. And then Cease on the other side, 9.7K. Priced maybe about right, maybe a little too high for what I would want to pay for him. So you're not really getting a good value from him. Twins bats are kind of tough. 29.6% strikeout rate that's what you're paying for. He does walk a lot of guys, near 10% walk rate here. Opponents hitting 234, getting on base at 317. Not great for that price. Twins 22nd overall in strikeouts, so they don't strike out a ton. 12th overall in on base percentage. So if Cease isn't really finding the zone, he will be in trouble. Twins bats probably not going to get here, right? Cruz at 5-1. I don't really necessarily like the one-off here. It's the same thing with like Winker. I think it's just too expensive. I'd rather just get to the Blue Jays or get to the Padres or get to the team that's coming up next in this slide. Donaldson 5-4, it's the same thing. And then Kepler 3-8. I think the price is fair, but probably just going to fade the Twins here. And then on the White Sox side, if there's one bat I'm going to just take a cheap flyer on, it probably would be Goodwin. He has a left-handed bat, right? 3K, that's not a ton. We need to save some salary. Grandal 4.8K. He's going to need to hit a home run here. His average is bad. His power does come from this side of the plate though. Moncada 4.7K. It's the same thing. Like Moncada's only had 5 home runs so far this season. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if I'm willing to pay the 4.7, 4.8K price. I think you definitely can, and I think they're very much in play. But Goodwin's probably the one guy, especially if he's hitting in the 2-hole. But it kind of makes a case for Ober too. Like maybe he's a cheap bat that allows you to spend up, but I think a lot of people are going to go that route. So those are my thoughts there. Next, we have the Orioles Astros. 9.5 over under here. You have Harvey taking on Garcia. Astros clearly the favorites in this one by a lot. Harvey 5.3K. He's just been super bad. I get it. I'm glad he's, a starting pitcher in 2021, but he just does not look good. Really tough matchup here. The Astros dead last in strikeouts. So Garcia 9.9K. I like the pitcher overall. 27.4% strikeout rate here. He's a fly ball pitcher for sure. 46.4% fly balls, 7.8% walk rate. It's kind of hovering the threshold there. Gives up more contact to left-handed batters, more fly balls to right-handed batters. So he's kind of just all over the place. He's just like, here's the ball, hit it. But he does strike guys out a lot. The price is just too expensive at 9.9K. And this is where it gets interesting when I start to think a little bit about game theory, because we're going to need to save some money. And the Orioles have a lot of cheap bats. And I'm not saying these guys that I have on this list are like studs by any means, but if I'm going to pay up and try to get the Blue Jays or the Astros, Urias at 2.5K. He's been hitting the ball fine. Leba, 2.2K. Gets me 5 points. Sure. Hayes, 3K, has power upside. Garcia, fly ball pitcher. Santander, 3K. He had a good game yesterday. So just there's some cheap value here. Even guys like Mancini and like Mullins at like 4-1, Mountcastle at 3-9. I think they're somewhat in play if you have the salary. But I think for my builds tonight, I'm going to be looking at trying to get some of these cheap guys in there. And then on the Astro side, Altuve 5.8. It's the same, Astros guys are priced up. Alvarez is not on the list, but he's 6K, like, or 6-1 or something. They're very much in play. Brantley's cheap, Tucker's cheap, 4.3. I don't mind getting to Toro at 3.5, Miles Straw at 3K. He looks pretty decent, has a chance to steal some bases. Maldonado 2.8K, probably going to be somewhat kind of owned, I'm sure. But I'm really interested in any of these Astros bats. We'll just see what the lineup brings here. But Harvey's just been pretty hittable. That gives us a chance to get some of these Astros at low salary, right? Even you could probably pair up some of these low end Astros with the Padres or with the Blue Jays. So kind of interesting here. So keep an eye on the lineup, and we don't have to worry about weather here because it's in a dome. So next game we have here. And final game. And before I talk about this one, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who has been watching the video. Make sure you like and subscribe. It really helps me out a ton. If you just love baseball and want to talk baseball, just drop a note in the comments. I'd love to talk and go through each slate with you guys. So last game on the slate here, Rangers, A's favored at 8.5 over under. Allard taking on Bassett. Allard 7.3K. The price is up. I wish he was 2K cheaper. I think the upside's limited. Like, he might be able to get you 16 to 19 points. He kind of had that stretch where he was doing that for a little while. I don't mind the ballpark he's in. I don't know. I guess you could take a shot on him. I don't know. We'll see. But on the A side, Bassett, 10.5K. I think he's just an above average arm who has looked pretty good. I've rostered him a ton so far this year, but that price is too expensive, 10.5K. The price on the A's in general is just insane. I don't know what DraftKings is doing here, but 24.8% strikeout rate. I think that's like fine, but not for that price. Opponents hitting 217 off of him. He looks good, man. Like, he's just overpriced. 44.5% fly ball rate to lefties. So that's a little blip that I found. It's not like Bassett hasn't been hittable. Like, he's just been pretty good. And if I'm going to take a shot on anyone in the Rangers, it's going to be Joey Gallo at 3.8K. I said it in yesterday's video. I said, there's something about this matchup with Gallo I liked. I don't care. The ballpark isn't too great, but he obviously has the power. He went out and hit 2 freaking home runs yesterday. So Gallo is still in play for me. And then on the other side with the A's, Olsen 6K. Like, look at these prices. Chapman 6.1, Laureano 5.4. Like, the A's are kind of boom or bust. Like, I was looking back at their game logs, and it's like 1 run, 2 runs, 4 runs, maybe 5 runs, and then they go out and score 11, right? And then it's just like kind of rinse and repeat. They're kind of all or nothing, similar to like what the Yankees are. Murphy, maybe my favorite bat on the A's today. I love taking him against left-handed pitching, 4.5K. I think that's fair. I think that's very reasonable. They're clearly one of the worst point per dollar stacks on this slate. I just don't see the value here. Maybe just in Murphy, right? So that'll do it. Thank you for watching. Best of luck to you in your contest today. Really appreciate it. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. And yeah, drop a comment below. I'm just curious to hear your thoughts on this slate. Keep an eye on the weather. That will be the most important thing, I think. So good luck tonight. Take it easy. Until next time. Peace.